Good afternoon, everyone. I hope your flux capacitors are in good repair because today we travel back in time. Back to June 13th to be exact, where the DMV rainy season began, and this game between the Southern Maryland Senators and your Bethesda Big Train was suspended in the top of the third. We're picking up right where we left off with the Sens leading 1-0 with a runner, Adam Truck, on first base. This game will be played through the 9th inning, and then we will play a second contest to conclude our doubleheader, this one starting from the first, as usual, then playing 7 innings. Alongside Eliav Brooks-Rubin, I'm Jackson Corcoran, and Eliav, big chance today to make up for a devastating loss last night.
Yeah, the Big Train handled business in the first half of their doubleheader yesterday against the Alexandria Aces, but gave up a 7 spot in the 6th inning of game number 2, capped off by a grand slam to drop that one. They sit a half game ahead of the Thunderbolts at the top of the North Division and just a half game behind these Senators for tops in the league. So a pair of wins here, and the Big Train are well on their way to first place in the Cal Ripken League.
They have to overcome a deficit to do it. Tanner Kaler pitched the first 2 innings of this game, gave up 4 hits and 1 run, and the runner on first base. Russell Peterson is getting the quote-unquote start today, so he's replacing Kaler. He'll have to deal with an inherited runner despite going through a starter's routine. That's got to be a bit of havoc on the mental.
Yeah, and a 1-0 count on top of that. So a little bit of an interesting start for Peterson, and that's what happens when you get hit with rain and you're not playing series. In the major leagues, they're playing series, so a lot of times if they do have to suspend a game to rain, they pick up the very next day. This game happened 16 days ago, but because of the rain and the way the schedule works, Big Train are going to have to start from down 1-0, even though it feels like the start of their day.
Carter Groen leading things off. Well, again, quote-unquote leading things off. Not technically leading off the inning, but leading off our play today against the Whitman College product Peterson. The right fielder Groen, as mentioned, has a 1-0 count on him. There's resetting the umpire layout as we are getting ready for our, again, first pitch today.
And the umpires also weren't ready and aware that there was a runner on first.
And he takes off right away. Truck, the throw down to second from J.J. Hand is late. And action bright and early. Probably the earliest stolen base on a day in baseball history, about as close as you can get.
Yeah, that is as close as you can. It is rare, if ever, that you will see a stolen base on the first pitch of the day. And now,
well, you won't see a stolen base on the first pitch of the day because we have batter interference on Carter Groen, got in the way of J.J. Hand, who, by the way, is replacing Jacob Hawk, who started this game. So Groen is out, and Truck has to return to first base.
Yeah, both catchers from 2 weeks ago subbed out. The only changes to these starting lineups, besides Peterson on the mound. Hand in for Hawk. This will be, although not technically a start, the first time we've seen him in a non-blowout situation. And Chet Bowling in for Lucas Grantham for the Senators.
Here's Steven Krause, the first baseman. Have we done lineups yet? Have we shown the lineup yet?
Krause was hit by pitch 2 weeks ago in his first plate appearance of this game.
Peterson picks off towards first. Truck is back in safely. Did we show the lineup graphic yet? 1-0 to Kraus. Is fouled away. Let's take a look at the lineups as they stand right now. Take a look at the Big Train lineup. Looks a bit different than we've seen. John Martinez in the 2-hole. Logan Panette in the cleanup spot where he's been dropped down the lineup more recently. JJ Hand obviously in at catcher for the Big Train.
And it's a testament to how much this Big Train lineup has evolved over the season in the last 2 weeks. Brennan Wright getting the day off when these two teams first met, so he's not in the lineup. But you see Logan Panette in the cleanup spot. He's now been hitting 6th lately. Emilio Gonzalez has solidified himself in that 4-hole instead. Brett Ott is hitting 9th in this game. He has been one of the better hitters for the Big Train over the last 2 weeks and currently sits 4th in the league in OPS.
Hard ground ball scoots by Gonzalez. A single for Kraus, and it brings up Danny Surowick.
So Peterson, kind of everyone on both teams just a little off kilter. We saw the umpires start in the wrong position, then a rare batter's interference, and then Peterson giving up a hit. So it might be a little before we settle in this game.
It will take some doing. It's still a hot day as well. Reads 99 on our scoreboard thermometer. Peterson gives a look towards the speedy truck at second, and that's fouled off the foot of the third sacker, Surowick, for strike one.
Give you a quick recap of how we got here. Grantham had a single in the second. He advanced to second base on a walk from Nichols. Smale grounded into a 4-6-3 double play, but Logan Tribble, who's batting in the 9th spot, he's been moved up in the lineup lately for the Senators, but in the 9 today, had an RBI single in the second inning. Big Train had put the minimum to the plate so far, 2 strikeouts. Gonzalez reached on an E6, but was doubled off on a Jacob Hawk lineout to first.
Peterson exhales, delivers, and breaking ball pops out of his hand for a ball.
Russell Peterson, just two appearances this season. He's pitched 6 1/3 innings. Or excuse me, 3 appearances. He's worked 7 1/3 innings. He has allowed 6 earned runs and 5 extra base hits.
Pitch inside. Quality walk to strikeout ratio, though, 3-8 in his 7 1/3. He fills up the zone, but sometimes gets tagged as a result. Trying to induce a ground ball here down on the count to Surowick. That is going to be rolled foul for strike 2.
And he's got his hands full with a Southern Maryland lineup that is second in the Cal Ripken League across the board behind only the Big Train. And already dealing with traffic early on in his outing.
Waving a foul down the left field line into the Big Train bullpen, which will have to be active today, Eliav. 14 innings to cover after pitching 14 yesterday.
Yeah, Big Train used 6 pitchers yesterday. It was in game number 1, they went to Michael Deviney for 3. Cole Ketchum went 2 2/3, and Owen Stewart went an inning and a third. I'd say there's maybe a slight chance we see Stewart. We won't see the other 2, Stewart only because he's been so good about bouncing back on short rest. In game number 2, Connor Lehman had his best outing, 5 innings. So he won't pitch till his next time through the rotation comes late in the week. And then Jordan Capuano and Lucas Marrero both struggled in relief, combining to allow that 7-run inning in the 6th.
Hard line drive caught by Gonzalez. He goes over and taps on the bag, and it's a double play. A superlative grab by the first baseman who has been stellar on defense all year. The score is 1-0 after 2.5. We'll send you to a recap of yesterday's action against the Alexandria Aces. Take it away, Quincy.
After winning Game 1 of the doubleheader yesterday, the Bethesda Big Train couldn't complete the sweep, dropping Game 2 to the Alexandria Aces in a hard-fought 9-7 battle. Connor Lehman out of the University of Alabama pitched very well through the first 5 innings, but things kind of came apart for the back end of the bullpen. The Big Train giving up 7 runs in the top half of the 6th. They did push across a run in the last inning, but it wasn't enough. 9-7, the Aces win. The Big Train currently now sit a half game ahead of the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts atop of the North Division. The Aces keeping pace with everybody else. We now send you back to the action.
play by Emilio Gonzalez at first to end last setting, but Eliev, first base is easy, right? Tell him, Eliev.
It's incredibly hard.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it's easy to an extent to be an okay first baseman. It's very hard to be a really good one, and that's what Emilio Gonzalez is. He's played errorless baseball at the first bag so far this year, the only infielder to do that, and he's made some difficult digs, some tough plays like that one. Been a real difference maker on the dirt.
Yeah, he has been. I mean, there's an argument for Alex Peltier in center, who has one error against the centers, but has been incredible covering ground. But Emilio Gonzalez has been probably otherwise the most important defender for the Big Train. He does so much for them on the ground, picking short hop throws, and with his big stature, being able to go up and get the high throws that some of these infielders have made.
Obviously, positions like shortstop and third, the most difficult positions on the infield, but first is the anchor. It can elevate all other positions around him, and that's what Gonzalez has tended to do, not to mention his stellar work with the bat. Here's Parker Corbin. He takes that pitch inside, had a pretty solid day yesterday, went 2 for 4 overall with his second home run of the year.
Yeah, and in the second game, he homered in the first game. In the second game, he reached base all 4 times. He came to the plate, a single and 3 walks, picked up 2 runs batted in.
Terrapin takes a fastball outside for ball 3. He scored at least 1 run and picked up at least 1 RBI both in the last 3 games he's played. Did go 0 for 5 against the Senators earlier this week. He fouls that pitch from Nick Wimberly off.
Wimberly started this game 2 weeks ago for the Senators. He has faced the minimum so far, a pair of strikeouts of Martinez and Steele, 2 guys. Martinez especially pretty hard to strike out, and 2 of the better hitters in this lineup, and has faced just 6 batters, like I mentioned.
He walks Parker Corbin here to lead things off, his 4th walk in the last 2 games. And here's Josh Skowronski serving as the designated hitter.
Well, Skowronski is really starting to turn it on, Jackson. He has 5 hits in his last 2 games after struggling to start the year. He was hitting the ball hard to start the year. He just wasn't seeing them fall. He now has 5 hits in his last 2, including 2 doubles and a triple. And the average is up to 275. The OPS up to 795.
He has 3 multi-hit games in the year, and they've all come in his last 5 games. He takes ball 1 here, and he's also shown patience throughout the year, Eliev, walking 10 times to 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, for a big guy who hit 13 homers this season at Winthrop, you'd think a power guy. And he does have the power. He's got 5 extra base hits, but the back control is there as well.
Wimberly behind in the count, 2-0.
Especially in recent weeks since these 2 teams met for the first time, or tried to meet for the first time when this game started June 13th. Josh Skowronski has just 1 strikeout since then.
Nick Wimberly has a 3 ERA on the season. In his last outing, he gave up 1 hit across 4 innings, allowed 2 unearned runs. He throws just a bit outside to Skowronski. Here he's down the count. Wimberly can bring it a little bit. His fastball ranges from 90 to 92. Can't find the zone to start this resumed game, and he's walked back-to-back batters to bring up Brett Ott.
And a quick meeting on the mound from head coach Scott Middleton, trotting out there. Have a quick discussion. And Brett, go ahead.
If you're going to be around the zone, not filling it up, the last guy you want to see is Brett Ott, one of the most patient hitters around.
And Brett Ott sits tops in the Cal Ripken League in on base, third in on base, third in OPS. He has worked 12 walks and has struck out just 9 times. And now, all season long, Brett Ott has been working his walks. He's been patient, but recently he started hitting the ball incredibly hard. He's got 9 hits in his last 4 games. 2 of them are doubles. He's driven in 5. He's scored 6, and he's stolen 5 bases. So he's always been getting on base this season, but now that the bats come around, his average up to 359, which is top 10 in the league. He has become one of the most dangerous hitters, and really not a guy you want to see in the 9-hole with the top of the lineup about to come up.
Ott has the best average of any Big Train qualified hitter against right-handers, 417. Nick Wimberly, one of those right-handers, throws high. could see Ott. No outs, runners in first and second has been an auto bunt situation for manager Sal Colangelo for much of this season. Ott keeps the bat up here and takes the first strike in a while from Wimberly.
More or less every single time, no matter who's at the plate, minus perhaps Emilio Gonzalez, they're laying down a bunt when it's first and second, nobody out. But with the way Brett Ott's swinging, I don't hate the decision.
He squares here and takes it way outside.
I guess just waiting to see a strike first before he put that play on.
When you have a guy walk back-to-back hitters to start his day, probably wise to put the bat on the shoulder until you see Wood in the zone, prove he can bring it to you. Then he goes right back outside. Ott's hands just above the knob, squares around again, pulls back for ball 3.
Wimberly's struggling. He's walked 4 coming into today across 6 innings, plus the 2 that haven't gone in the scorebook. So really across 8 innings, which is not a bad number. And the ERA sits at just 3, but he has not found the zone today.
And that pitch looked to have sailed outside, but umpire calls strike 2.
Brett Ott was bending down to unvelcro his shin guard.
I think that's one where he was still squared around, and so that sort of changes the width of the zone of the umpire. Because Ott's so much closer to the plate, it looks less far outside than it is. And now a payoff from Wimberly to Ott. Ball 4. The bases are loaded via a trio of free passes, and here comes Alex Peltier, the league leader in batting average.
Hitting .407 after a 4-for-9 day yesterday. That included a clutch RBI double that put him on second base in the 7th inning of game number 2. Did not end up coming around to score, but this guy hits with runners in scoring position. He hits in clutch situations, and he's got a chance to flip this game on its head early.
Grounded out to third to start the Big Train's day. Back on June 13th, he takes ball 1 high here. The Big Train have a hold on all 3 Triple Crown categories. One of their players is leading. Peltier leading an average. Panette with 3 home runs leads that category. And Emilio Gonzalez tops the RBI board with 18.
Well, it's not just Emilio Gonzalez. The top 4 in RBI are Big Train. Gonzalez at 18, Panette at 17, and I believe Peyton Steele's at 16, and help me out here, who's the last one? Parker Corbin's at 15. And
Peltier's got 14 as well, and he grounds it through the left side for a base hit. Corbin's going to score. Skaronski coming around, and the Big Train take the lead. It's 2-1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Well, Alex Peltier says, you should mention me in that category. He jumps up into the top 5.
His 15th and 16th RBI of the season bring up John Martinez. He struck out in his first at-bat, but that hardly matters because, as you said, it was 2 weeks ago. But that strikeout will make it a bit of a statistical oddity because he hasn't struck out in 27 plate appearances. In fact, he's put a ball in play, no walks or hit by pitches, in his last 27 plate appearances.
That'll end when this game goes final, even if he does put a ball in play every single time he comes to the plate today.
He's got a runner on first and second, and he waves at that breaking ball from Wimberly. About the only pitch that Wimberly has been able to find. The fastball has been all over the joint, but he's been able to spin some sliders in there.
He's way ahead of Martinez, who comes into this game as hot as he's been all year, 5-game hit streak to get that average up near 300 again.
Fastball at the brim of the helmet is ball 1. But yeah, just a skosh under 300 at 296. He's riding a 5-game hit streak, his second longest of the year. Started off the campaign hitting in 6 straight.
Then got hurt in a game, missed a couple of days, and then right when he was set to come back, this actually was his first game back.
Strike 3 called and taking off towards third and making it as Brett Ott got a great jump. But Martinez goes down looking for out number 1. However, I would have really liked to see Peltier follow there. Ott, again, great jump, good job stealing third, but Peltier unable to follow with the throw going down to third base.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be surprised if Peltier says, all right, pitch number 1, I'm heading down to second, especially with Brett Ott on third. A throw that goes all the way through, Ott will be able to score.
Peltier has thieved 10 bags this year. Pitch high and outside. That was Ott's 6th. Or 7th, rather.
And it was
6 coming in.
It was his 6th in the last 5 games. So he started the season staying put on the bags, but has been taken off recently.
Here goes Peltier. That's served in the center field by Peyton Steele. It's going to be caught out there by Truck, allowing Ott to tag and score. RBI sac fly for Peyton Steele. And it's now 3-1.
So Peltier has to stay put for now, but Peyton Steele picks up his 4th sac fly this season to even John Martinez at the top. And Big Train produce via the sac fly better than anyone else in the Cal Ripken League. They're so good about driving guys in when they're on third base, less than 2 outs.
They did exactly what you're supposed to do when a guy hands you 3 walks to start the inning. They brought them all in. Knock from Peltier, sac fly from Steele. Moving it around a bit with the stolen base by Ott. Great work by the Big Train offense, and Peltier still on the base, and Logan Panette looking to get hot once again. Here goes Peltier, popped up on the infield. Drifts just on the edge of the verdant green grass, and making the catch is Dawson Smale. He'll end the inning. Big Train pick up 3 runs on 1 hit, 1 runner left on, and they lead by 2 after 3 with 6 to go. Eliot Brooks-Rubin will handle the mid innings when he returns.
One from Peterson, who settled down after allowing the quick hit to Kraus. Pop up foul out of play for strike number 2. On bowling this season, and even his slash line very satisfying. 300 is the average, 400 the on base, 500 the slug for an even 900 OPS.
And that's, if you can construct a perfect ideal hitter, that's the slash line you would give them, 300, 400, 500. The Winthrop product from Faulkner, Maryland has been hitting the ball pretty darn well.
1-2, popped up straight back and out of play.
He's got a home run on the season, and that was sent well over the left field wall against the big train off of, I believe, Trevor Orth.
In that game, he reached all 4 times. He came to the plate, a home run. 2 for 2, goes down swinging. So Big Train finally retired bowling. In that game, he was 2 for 2 with a homer and a walk and a hit by pitch as well.
Always good to see Peterson get to the strikeout, and even better to see he's been through 4 batters so far and hasn't walked one of them. Not the highest bar to clear, but that was something that the Big Train really struggled with yesterday, and that when they've been losing, that's what they've struggled with throughout the season.
Yeah, in that 7-run 6th inning, only 3 hits produced those 7 runs. It started off walk, walk, walk to load the bases, then an RBI single, then another walk, and then an RBI single to make it 6-5. And with the bases still loaded and no outs, a grand slam. 0-1 pitch. Curveball ends for strike 2.
When Peterson has command of that breaking ball, it's very good. If you go back to his first and only start of the season, this is a start in a way, against the Gaithersburg Giants, struggled with the fastball command early, then got the spinner working very, very well for the remainder of his 4 innings.
And that's kind of been the strength of this Big Train rotation. And really the whole pitching staff, outside of a couple of guys, it's really been the off-speed stuff, especially the slider and the curveball that have been the go-to pitches for a lot of these guys and help them rack up the #1 strikeout total in the league. J.J. Hand thought that was another strikeout, pitched ruled just outside.
Yeah, if I go through the list here, there's only 2 guys that I'd tell you the fastball is undeniably their best pitch, and that's Connor Lehman and Cole Ketchum in my mind. They have really plus fastballs coming in hard.
2-2. Just chopped foul. And a 1-spot start that was made for the Big Train by Brett Renfro. His fastball was his best pitch. I'm not sure. Haven't seen him since. That start came. He was a late addition to the roster. He pitched 2 innings against Olney last Sunday. Has not been put back in the game since. Not sure if he's even still on the roster. So he is still on the roster, so definitely a chance we see him today then. But he's got a plus fastball. He struggled with location in the first inning of that game and then really settled down. 2-2 from Peterson. And just missed outside again.
I mean, the other guy that jumps to my mind when I think of Big Train fastballs is Drew Bellis, today's Game 2 starter. But I don't think his fastball is his best pitch only because he has a absolutely devastating curveball.
I think that curveball has an argument for best pitch on this staff. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to begin this 4th inning for Peterson, who has dialed in.
And if Peterson's able to beat guys with his fastball, that's going to be huge for him. It's not the hardest in the team. Still pretty firm in the upper 8s, but it's a bit flatter than some guys. And what he really gets the most out of it is with his command. He fills the zone, he hits the edges, and that's when he's working well with his fastball. And it does play very well with his breaker.
Dawson Smale chops a fastball foul. Smale grounded into a 4-6-3 double play in his first at-bat of this game. He also was 0 for 3 yesterday and 0 for 3 the first time these 2 teams met, albeit with 2 walks. So still seeking his first hit against the Big Train. And he's quickly behind 0-2.
But he is a guy who will happily leave the bat on his shoulder. He has walked 12 times this year to 8 strikeouts in his 16 games played for an on-base percentage nearing 500.
0-2 from Peterson. Strikes out the side. Big breaking curveball for out number 3. And he is dialed in. Emilio Gonzalez, JJ Hand, and then Parker Corbin for the second time today in the bottom of the fourth. The Big Train have quickly rallied and turned this game around. They had been trailing 1-0 for 2 straight weeks, but within half an hour of this game picking up again, they now lead 3-1.
And with Emilio Gonzalez stepping up to the plate, it's gotten to the point where as soon as you hear the reggaeton beats sounding around Shirley Povich Field, opposing pitchers start quaking.
And lined into left field, charging and laying out for the catch is Logan Tribble, but does not come up with it. It was in the glove, but could not hold on. Emilio Gonzalez has himself a hard-earned single.
And some of Gonzalez's hits are murdered somewhere. That one not so much, but when you're hitting 400, things tend to work out for you. I mean, Gonzalez has just been superb in his last few games.
Yeah, and he hits the ball to all parts of the park. Another guy who's, like Skoronski, a bigger dude with power, but has the bat control, doesn't strike out very much. Now, Jackson, we get an extended look at JJ Hand for the first time all season.
Yeah, it's interesting. He's just graduated from high school, on his way to Old Dominion. He's made a couple appearances off the bench. And still, this is technically off the bench, but it is going to be more or less a full game look for him behind the plate.
Swings and misses at strike one from Wimberly. Hand has 3 plate appearances to his name. He has a 2 RBI double, a walk, and a strikeout.
Catching as a sub is very hard, so being able to come in and play a full game more or less should be good for the youngster.
Yeah, we've seen basically a de facto 1-2 with Hawk and Murphy, and the only games that Hand has appeared in have been either blowout wins or blowout losses for the Big Train. This game obviously early on and still close, but because both Hawk and Murphy caught yesterday, and Hawk has caught each of the last 2 days, actually that's not true because of the rain out, as Murphy gets punched out. Because Hawk caught yesterday, as did Murphy, Hand is going to get a look here. And I'd imagine we see Dylan Murphy in game number 2, just because he played game number 1 yesterday, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, and Dylan Murphy is playing some excellent baseball at the moment as well. Had a lovely game at the plate yesterday. Went 3 for 3 with his first 2 extra base hits of the year.
Yeah, home run short of the cycle. Pickoff towards Gonzalez, who's only a few feet off the bag. And he goes to ground, but dives in safely. Parker Corbin walked and scored in the 3rd, as did Skoronski and Ott to follow. 1 on 1 out for Nick Wimberly, who finds the zone, and he has been much better since walking the bases loaded to begin this game.
Retiring 4 of his last 5, 2 via the backwards K. He's been in and around the zone much more, just needed some time to dial in this heat, it appears.
0-1 pitch, fouled straight back. Corbin in a hole 0-2. Wimberly, going back to the first 2 innings, has a total of 4 strikeouts now across 3 1/3 innings pitched. Ahead of Corbin 0-2, and dots up the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts looking for Nick Wimberly.
You know a pitcher's figured out his stuff when he gets 3 looking strikeouts. He's been able to find the corners again. Pitchers that were once sailing way wide, uncompetitive, are now carving off the edges.
Josh Skoronski to bat for the second time. He walked and scored his first time up. Check swing right back to the netting.
And if Wimberly's able to keep settling in, he's on a week's rest, so he can pitch a full starter's workload added on to 2 innings he's already pitched. If he keeps pitching well, he could author one of the longest outings of the Cal Ripken season.
Yeah, elsewhere in the Cal Ripken League, in a similar situation with a suspended game, Wimberly ahead 0-2, there's a guy who went 8 1/3 innings through 131 pitches, not all at the same time, of course, but Wimberly, if he can continue to be efficient and stop allowing base runners, as he's done through the last 7 batters, he could rival that. Skoronski gets into one, high and deep to right field, and that ball lands in Souvenir City. A 2-run home run for Josh Skoronski, his first of the campaign, and the Big Train lead it 5-1.
That ball was parked by Skaronski, got every bit of that, and it's a great piece of hitting. Just found the pitch right down the middle, hanging slider, and did exactly what you're supposed to do with a hanging slider. Just mashes it over the retired numbers, sails over the Hank Greenberg sign out there and right. Great work by Skaronski.
Man, oh man, we have been waiting for that. Josh Skaronski has maybe the most power on this team in terms of raw power. 13 home runs at Winthrop. And the doubles have started coming lately. He had a triple, but that first home run was well overdue.
And as a no-doubter, it's got to feel good. And against a good pitcher in Wimberley, too. No cheapie in any sense of the word by Skaronski.
Brett Ott to follow. Hard act to follow. He grounds to first. Picked and stepped on by Kraus to end the inning. But Josh Skaronski does damage. After back-to-back strikeouts, he gets into one, a 2-run shot, and the Big Train lead is 5-1. Offense is back in full force. A 3-run third, a 2-run fourth, courtesy of a Josh Skaronski home run. And now Russell Peterson back out after striking out the side in the top of the fourth.
I mean, this offense is just something else. They hit like nobody else in the league does. A 315 team average. One guy on your team hitting 315, pretty darn good. Your whole team hitting that, absurd.
Big Train just... You look at some of these categories and how they compare to every other team in the league, and they're tops across the board in pretty much every major offensive category. And some of the numbers are staggering. They have 140 team RBIs entering today. No other team had more than 100. So they had 40% more than the second highest team. You look at slugging, their slugging is about 50 points higher than the Senators, who are second. Similar in the average department. Peterson behind 2-0 and misses, so a 3-ball count to the 9-hitter Logan Tribble, who's got the Senators' lone RBI of this game, all the way back on June 13th in the second inning.
Yeah, don't let the 9-hole spot fool you for Tribble. He's a heck of a hitter, hitting 353 on the year with a 490 slug.
Now, 4-pitch walk to Tribble, and Tribble has been hitting near the top of the lineup. I would imagine if he's in the lineup for Game 2, he'll be in the top 3 or 4. Just so happened that when these two teams met, when they made these lineups, and the lineups obviously are for the most part the same because it's a resumed game and neither manager wants to burn bench spots, but Tribble was in the midst of a major slump, so he was moved down to the 9, but since then has resumed his hitting ways and is back at the top of the lineup. Peterson locates the zone after a 4-pitch walk to Tribble. He takes on the leadoff man, Nick Flores.
And here's a guy who has earned his leadoff spot. I mean, he's been very good for the Senators all year, has a 17-game on-base streak, has reached in every appearance.
0-1 in for strike 2 to Flores. And another one of these interesting quirks of this game is Nick Flores is the leadoff spot for the away team, but he is the last man to appear offensively. Adam Truck started the game on first base, and every other man in both lineups has hit so far. Usually, being the first one to bat. Today, the last. 0-2. Popped up and foul.
Flores has flown out and grounded out pre-resumption.
Is that a word? Resumption?
Resumption, almost certain that's a word.
Okay. I think I've already also said that in this game, but I'm not confident. I'm not as confident as you that that's a word. Fouls one away, Flores, to stay alive. Hits the batting cages over behind the stands.
Merriam-Webster says it's an act or instance of resuming.
Okay, there you go. Peterson still way ahead 0-2. Nick Flores, though, has struck out only 4 times all season in 17 games. Kick and a deal, and a bender just misses.
That's well presented by J.J. Hand. When you get a breaking ball at the top of the zone, as a catcher, you want to catch it as close to your body and as late as possible. Let that pitch keep falling. Let the gravity do the work for you. That's what Hand did.
1-2, just outside. Hand tried to bring it back.
And that's 2 pitches that were out of the zone that Hand made look a lot better than they were. Didn't quite fool our home plate umpire, but good presentation by a young catcher.
Nick Flores has battled back to even this count at 2. Flores, the VCU product. Fly ball center field. Peltier out. So is Skoronsky, but Peltier calls Skoronsky off for out number 1.
It's a nice pitch in that count by Russell Peterson. It's 2-2. He's been right around the zone twice. Eventually, Flores is going to have to expand a bit. He can't keep taking those close pitches. He goes back to the well, breaking ball outside, and there's nothing that Flores can do with that except flare it in the center.
My mistake. It's not Skoronsky in left. Skoronsky stands in right field. Brett Ott in left. Peltier is in center around the diamond. Laid bunt squared around by Truck. Around the diamond, Panette at third. Martinez at short. Corbin at second. Gonzalez at first. Obviously, we've been talking about Hand behind the plate.
Be huge for Peterson to go as deep in this game as possible. He's been efficient after an early single. Quick ground ball here could keep him moving.
Pop up on the infield, foul territory. Panette and Hand both ranging over, and it'll be Logan Panette who makes the grab.
And good thing Panette was there. Good work by the third baseman, because there is the mistake of a youngster. Kept the mask on. Hard to see when you do that. First thing you want to do, rip it off, find where the ball is, and throw it as far away from you as you can. And Hand just sort of overran the ball, never got a good view of it. But Panette, hustling in. He plays a deep third base, deeper than a lot of guys do. And he had to bust it down the line to get there. Good work.
Carter Groen steps in. The first guy in the Senators lineup to bat twice today. He was ruled out on batter's interference on a Truck attempted steal back in the 3rd inning. Pop up again on the infield. This one, though, trailing out of play.
That was a big break to start this recommencement of this game. Keeping Truck out of scoring position and retiring Groen, a tough hitter. It's a nice way to start if you're the big train. It's been parlayed into a 4-run lead now.
Counts 1-1. Tribble thought about stealing, then held up. Wouldn't have mattered since Groen fouled off strike 2.
Groen is a big hacker. He's hitting below the Mendoza line, but has plenty of pop. An isolated power number, that's slugging minus average, near 200. That's very high. Has 2 doubles and 2 home runs, but 14 strikeouts.
1-2. Chopped foul. Groen has driven in 9 in 15 games, despite the just 196 average, like you said. He got a hit, just a single, though does not contribute to the ISO. Against the big train last time these two teams met. Also walked and scored. Peterson ahead 1-2. Groen thought about it, but did not offer.
It's a good leave when Peterson has that tight slider working. It's tough to lay off. That one is a little too far and outside to draw the eye of the big right fielder.
Counts even at 2. Peterson looking to escape the 5th, and he'll have to throw another pitch to do so.
Those last 2 pitches set up well off each other. Slider away, then fastball up and away. If you got enough vertical break, those pitches might look like they're coming towards the same spot. Then one rides up and one dips down. Probably now coming inside.
2-2. Leaves it over the plate. Hit hard to center field. Peltier back on it at the warning track. Makes a leaping grab. Alex Peltier showing off the range for out number 3. He saves a run.
Hey fans, make sure to drop us a follow on Instagram, X, and Facebook.
We're just about halfway through the Cal Ripken season, and things are starting to heat up on the standing list. A lot of teams are jacking for potential playoff position as we head to the back half of the season. Things are airtight at the top of the North Division. The Big Train lead it by a half game over the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts, who won against the DC Grays yesterday. The only Crop Dusters put a beating on the Southern Maryland Senators, winning that game 13-1. They sit only a game and a half back, with the Gaithersburg Giants bringing up the rear. In the South Division, the Southern Maryland Senators have seen their division lead close a considerable amount. The Aces and Grays both sit only 2 games back after the Aces split with the Big Train yesterday, and the Metro South County Braves finally halt their 9-game losing streak with a win against Gaithersburg yesterday. The top 3 teams in each division will make the playoffs. The division winners will each get a bye, so things are going to be coming down to the wire, it seems, as these teams are all very close together.
Ripken League. A lot of teams making up for lost time. The Grays and the Giants play a doubleheader. They're already underway in Game 1. So do the Metro South County Braves and the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts and Braves are tied 0-0 in the bottom of the second, and the Grays are up 8-1 on the Giants, who just can't seem to get one right, Ilyav.
Yeah, they were on the losing end of a 20-9 game yesterday, a game that they trailed 7-0. Then came back in the 6th and 7th innings to make it to give themselves a 9-7 lead as Alex Peltier steps back into the box before allowing a 13-run bottom of the 8th. That game finished 20-9. They used 2 position players in that 8th inning to record the final 2 outs. 7 games around the league today. The only 2 teams not engaging in a doubleheader of some sort are the Crop Dusters, who visit the Aces at 6:30.
The Crop Dusters have been able to get their games in. They have played more than just about anybody in the league, 20 games already.
Now, well, they played 2 or 3 games during that week rainout where the Big Train didn't play once. Slow roller to short, loopy throw, and Peltier's in safely. That'll be an E6 on the throw.
Just didn't get the footwork right, Flores. Throw made as he was kind of dipping down. Like let the body just drop, let the shoulder drop, and ended up being a soft, loopy throw off target as well. Makeable play, but tough, but just didn't quite get it right.
Flores also had an error in the 2nd inning of this game, so his 2nd on the scorecard. Stepping to the plate now, Martinez swings and misses at strike 1. Went down looking his first time up, went down swinging before we paused the game. So 2 strikeouts in this one, and they are his only 2 strikeouts in his last 30 plate appearances. Popped straight back, deep in the hole, 0-2.
This game is the only time that Martinez has appeared in the 2nd spot in the lineup. Has been a mainstay in the 3-hole, dropped down to the 6th spot for 1 game, hit well there, and then moved right back to his customary spot.
0-2. Peltier takes off, throw on a line, but kicks away, and Peltier's headed for 3rd. That'll be a stolen base and an E2. Alex Peltier goes 1st to 3rd, still nobody out.
I mean, that's just what Peltier offers you. makes a play on the base paths, forces a awkward throw out of Flores because of the speed, and then immediately steals, slides in at the same time as the ball, kicks it into center, and now he's at third just like that.
A throwing error for Chet Bowling following Flores' throwing error. Infield in. Martinez fouls another pitch away to stay alive.
Sort of surprised to see the infield in here. There is nobody out in the inning, and it's already a 4-run deficit. With plenty of baseball to go, you'd think the out would be important here.
Yeah, don't want to let this inning compound after giving up multiple runs in each of the last 2 frames. Martinez cues one foul, was out in front, but got a piece of it to stay alive.
Just couldn't wait on the breaking ball. It was hanging a bit at the top of the zone. Sort of got ahead of himself a bit there, but able to get a bit of the bat on it, stay alive.
1-2 from Wimberly. Runs inside, Martinez twisting away for ball 2.
Wimberly has a big sweeping slider. That one flipped out of the hand, but when he gets it right, it really just runs across the zone.
2-2 pitch. Could use the slider for a strikeout here. Comes home, goes fastball, ground ball to first, and it trickles under the glove of the first baseman, Kraus. Should be a single for Martinez. We'll see how it's scored. Regardless, Peltier comes across for the 6th run of the game, and they scored an error.
And that really kind of baffles me. I mean, he's on the dive. He just gets a little bit like that's a hit. I don't know why we're taking hits away from our guys. Good piece of hitting by Martinez. Does a good job. Yeah, but it's an RBI. It's a good work by Martinez, even though it might not be reflected in the scorecard at the end of the day.
Peyton Steele now bats. That one is crushed to right. Going back on it is Groen, and he has room on the warning track just in front for out number 1. Thought that ball was hit a little harder than it actually was.
I mean, he got it 90 off the bat to the opposite field. Solid work, but just sort of left it up in the air. Got under it just a bit, about a centimeter lower, and I think that finds the gap. And that last play has been transformed on the board. It is a hit.
Okay.
So it's going to be an RBI single for Martinez. Well-deserved.
The right ruling after all. Steele just got under it, hit that one at a 35-degree launch angle, which is kind of when you talk about MLB launch angles, they say like 35 is the top of the home run range, but you got to hit a ball over 100 miles an hour usually to hit a home run with 35 as the launch angle. Your ideal is, I think they say 22 point something, and somewhere between 20-25 is your range. A little different when you're not hitting the ball as hard, but you're still that range of 20 to 25 miles an or launch angle, 20-25 degrees, allows you to hit the ball the least hard and still hit it out.
A StatCast barrel is usually defined as between 26 and 30 degrees with 99 plus miles. Now, again, that's in Major League categorization.
There you go. So it's a little under the range. But regardless, Logan Panette is looking for a barrel. Heading the count 2-1. John Martinez stands on first with a single. Alex Peltier has already scored in this inning. Martinez, a delayed steal, the throw from Bowling in time. An ill-advised decision from John Martinez. And good heads-up baseball from Bowling and the second baseman Smale.
And Martinez is a really quite heady player, and that's a surprising misstep from him. He makes a lot of smart plays in the diamond. That just did not happen to be one of them.
Martinez is erased, 2 away. But Logan Panette ahead in the count 3-1. See if he can dial in on the right pitch. Hits one high in the air, right center field. It's Groen again. Waving off truck for out number 3. So a leadoff E6. Peltier wreaks havoc on the base paths, comes around to score. The big train leads 6-1 after 5. for a 4th inning of work, continuing his sharpest outing of the season thus far. He has worked 3 innings. He has allowed just 1 hit and 1 walk. He has struck out 3, all coming in the 4th. He will face the meat of the order, Kraus, Serwick, Bowling, the 4-5-6.
He's gotten guys to strike out, obviously struck out the side, and then popped up the side last inning.
Ground ball right side, past the diving Parker Corbin. And a single for Kraus.
Obviously, the inning ended with a very nice play from Peltier, but it's a real skill getting batters to pop up because that is the least valuable batted ball that you can author in baseball. I mean, pop-ups are, once you get to this level, they're pretty much automatic outs. And if you can pop guys up, that's almost as good as a strikeout and often on less pitches. So Peterson working the top of the zone, getting soft contact.
Line drive center field. Peltier sits on it, now a couple steps in for out number 1.
And again, top of the zone. That's right where you want to put that pitch. I mean, sometimes guy is going to be able to hop on it and drive it to the wall, but not that time. Serwick well under it. You got a great outfield out there. This is really what you want to do when you're the big train. If you can pitch to contact and get soft fly balls, I mean, this outfield is going to help you out. Peltier, Ott, and Steele out there, they're all plus defenders.
And maybe the finest defensive outfield in the league. High fly ball in the left. This one chasing Ott back and towards the line. But handled easily, out number 2.
I mean, Ott plays center field when Peltier's not out there. He's a good left fielder. Steele adds a little more value with his arm than his glove, but we've seen him make some stellar plays out there in right. And when you put Skowronski out there, he's also got a cannon. This is a quality defensive outfield mix.
Every corner outfielder, I believe, has an outfield assist to home. I think Peltier, the only guy who's played innings out there who doesn't. But he makes up for it with exquisite range. And that's not to say any of the outfielders in the corners have bad range, because they're all very good at defending their position. Brett Ott slides over to play center when Peltier's not in the lineup. Peyton Steele, covers a ton of room out there. Peterson ahead 0-2 and strikes out Nichols on 3 pitches, so works around a leadoff single, and he's pitched 4 scoreless. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Big Train handling business. They're up 6-1.
Love it.
Back for the bottom of the 6th. Big Train have scored runs in each of the last 3 innings against Nick Wimberly, and each of the 3 innings we've played today. Elio Gonzalez, who had a soft serve single into left, a diving attempt by Tribble could not handle. He'll bat the 2nd time today, 3rd time in this game. Wimberly runs strike 1, fastball on the inside corner.
That hit marks his 9th game in a row with a base knock. That's tied for the longest streak on the Cal Ripken League. Alex Peltier also had a 9-game run from June 7th to 22nd.
Quickly ahead 0-2. Gonzalez does not strike out much, just a 1 strikeout in his last 9 games over the span of which that hit streak stretches. And in that span, he is hitting an even .500 with 6 extra base hits.
8% strikeout rate on the season, the fewest Ks of any big train hitter with 35 or more plate appearances.
0-2. Really looking to add 1 to his tally, but Gonzalez fights off a high fastball.
Dylan Murphy, about the only guy, Brennan Wright as well, who can match Gonzalez's ball and play prowess, but neither of them possess the pop that this man does.
5 extra base hits across his 8-game hit streak. Finally strikes out, just the 2nd time in the last 9 games.
Takes a picture-perfect pitch to do it. You have to credit Wimberly there. He gets into an account where he has an advantage and unleashes an excellent off-speed pitch, a changeup that just dives away from the lefty, perfectly located right at the knees, out of the zone, and gets the chase. Nothing that Gonzalez could do with that. It's also very tough to lay off.
Yeah, but talk a little more about how impressive Gonzalez has been over the last 2 weeks. Not only is he on a 9-game hit streak, he's on, at the same time, a 6-game walk streak. So he's walked in his last 6, not counting today. He does not have a walk yet. On top of his 9-game hit streak. So getting on base 2 or 3 times at minimum every game. 1-0 pitch. Hand swings and misses.
It's an uncomfortable looking swing from Hand. The fastball up in the zone. Just kind of jumped on him, it looked like.
Now still just hasn't had a ton of reps in the batter's box this season. Takes a strike high and outside, but in the zone.
Obviously, Hand does have an extra base hit, so it hasn't been all doom and gloom, hardly. But he already has more strikeouts from this season than his counterpart in the Tools of Ignorance, Dylan Murphy.
1-2 pitch. Wimberly records back-to-back strikeouts, and J.J. Hand goes down looking for the 2nd time today. Although Wimberly hasn't been super sharp, he does have 7 Ks in this game.
And you have to credit him as well for being able to eat up some innings for the Senators. It's a doubleheader, and you'll take as many innings as you can get, especially as he's gotten better as the game has gone along. 3 runs, then 2 runs, then 1.
Looking to put up a 0 here. He's retired the first 2, but now gets Corbin. Corbin, a walk in the 3rd, a strikeout looking in the 4th.
By the way, puts me in mind of it. We were talking about him earlier. Luke Petrangia of the Metro SoCo Braves threw 8 1/3 across 2 days, struck out 10, and what would eventually be a heartbreaking loss to the T-Bolts. Through 4 innings, game was suspended, threw 4 1/3 more, all pretty excellent, then was removed, and the Braves lost by 1.
Yeah, their bullpen could not get the final 2 outs before they allowed 3 runs to cross the plate. Strike 1 to Corbin.
Corbin has not ended a plate appearance with a swing yet today, a walk and a looking strikeout.
2-1 pitch. Fouls one towards Skaronski, the on-deck hitter. Counts even at 2. If Corbin can get on, brings Skaronski to the plate, and he has had himself a day, the 2-run homer, and also a walk and a run in his first plate appearance. 2-2 pitch. Wimberly home, misses outside.
Parker Corbin has walked 7 times in his last 4 games, including today. He's been seeing the ball well at the plate.
He has worked the count full. Payoff pitch. Pop up into left field. Tribble camped under. It's a can of corn. A 1-2-3 6th for Wimberly. I'll turn it over to Jackson for the late innings, 7-8-9. The big train still on top, 6-1.
you haven't been able to get your fill of Bethesda Big Train content via the Big Train Baseball Network and our social media accounts, head to bigtrain.org, find the media tab, go to News and Games Stories, and find some excellent pieces written by our beat writers, Calvin Kaplan and Alex Rubinson. Alex has an excellent, well-researched piece on Drew Bellis coming out tomorrow, the star left-hander. Be on the lookout for that on bigtrain.org.
And that puts a little extra pressure on Bellis in game number 2 of this game. And at least pressure for Alex, who I'm sure would prefer his piece be read after a typical Bellis gem.
Bellis has thrown pretty much one bad inning so far this year. Gave up 3 runs in the first inning against these Senators. But other than that, he's been sublime.
Yeah, labored through that inning, threw over 30 pitches, but otherwise has been efficient and effective.
Line drive, deep right field, going back on its steal. It's going to one-hop the wall. Rounding first, heading for second is Smale. The throw comes in. And as he so often does, Peyton Steele takes a play that should be nowhere near close and makes it a thinker, but Smale picks up a leadoff double, the 3rd straight inning where the leadoff batter has reached for the Sens.
Peterson thus far has been able to work around leadoff batters reaching, including to start the game where the leadoff batter was put on there by Kaler. So we'll see if he can handle Smale, although this is the first time that a runner has made it to second base this entire game, other than in that 3rd inning when Truck made it to 3rd, but Peterson not responsible for Truck. The first time Peterson has allowed a runner to reach second.
Peterson waving at some gnats in front of his face. You've seen that a lot from players. There's kind of a lower lying area, so there's some bugs who inhabit the infield of Shirley Povich Field. You see John Martinez swatting at him right now.
Lower lying area is generous. DC is the swamp. And we're not in DC, but we're close enough.
Oh, great block by hand. Gets away just far enough, though, for Dawson Smale to take 3rd anyway. Good effort by hand. That's a really tough pitch to block. A 55-footer in the other batter's box. Kept it close, but then couldn't find it. Smale moves up 90 feet. Logan Tribble has reached base twice today, and he pops it up in the direction of Parker Corbin. Calls everybody off, trots on in, and makes the catch at the shoulder.
Now, a big first out in Peterson's quest to stay scoreless. He keeps Smale on 3rd, now needs a similar result or a strikeout in order to continue to put up a 0.
Parker Corbin flagging that one down for out number 1, bringing up Nick Flores, who's 0 for 3 today. Well, 0 for 1 today, 0 for 3 on the scorecard. Said that a lot, that sort of thing, but he swings and misses at the first pitch of his at-bat. And
new experience for us as well. I've never called a game that was resumed after 2 weeks, or really ever, where the numbers have changed at all.
Flores takes strike 2, a dot from Peterson. He's way ahead, but against a tough guy to strike out.
Yeah, but Peterson does have 4 Ks in this game. 5th one here, maybe in the most important spot he's pitched in.
Delivery. Swing and a miss. Russell Peterson strikeout number 5, and in the big spot, just has to retire one of the toughest outs in the Cal Ripken League to get out of this inning.
Well, this will be a testament to how locked in Peterson is if he's able to get Truck, because Truck is coming into today sat just 1 point behind Alex Peltier for 2nd in the Cal Ripken League in average at 406. He leads the league outright in hits, and he is 2nd in stolen bases behind just Ryan Sung, the speed demon for the DC Grays.
Truck has been a do-it-all man atop the Senators lineup. Like you say, he's pretty much aped Alex Peltier in what he's been able to do for this team out there in center field and in the lineup. He takes strike 2 here, 2 really nice breaking balls. Has Peterson 1 out away from an escape act.
Now looking to strand a runner at 3rd and no outs, the most difficult feat for a pitcher outside of you know, a perfect game or a no-hitter.
Fastball outside, misses the plate. Sun continuing to beat down through light cloud cover here at Shirley Povich Field. The shadows glance over the edge of center, but the mound where Russell Peterson sits, untainted. The pitch, high ball 2.
Not a bad pitch from Peterson. Big breaking curveball, just couldn't quite get it to drop enough. Now he's going to have to be careful.
All 2s on the scoreboard here in the top of the 7th. Swinging a ground ball towards the 3-4 hole. Fielding it is Corbin, and he retires Adam Truck just in time. A star-like performance tonight from Russell Peterson, and the All-Star Game will be taking place here at Shirley Povich Field in just a few days. Here's more information about that contest.
Make sure to join us here on July 9th for the Caribbean League All-Star Game.
The league's best players will be on display in a star-studded affair.
Tim Kirkchin will be in attendance, so make sure to get your tickets before they sell out.
It'll be the North Division versus the South Division, and you can get your tickets at bigtrain.org/tickets. That's bigtrain.org/tickets.
Of the pitcher's plate to Michael Walsh, a veteran left-hander out of Leesburg, Virginia, Eliav.
Now, Walsh, the VCU product, appeared in 8 games for them, did not allow a run. And in 5 games this season for the Senators, he has a 4.82 ERA across 9 1/3, 13 strikeouts to 9 walks, and just 2.16 batting average against.
Walsh will get to face a pair of lefties to start his day, Skowronski and Ott. Here is today's designated hitter, Josh Skowronski. He swings and misses, trying to repeat his feat from the last time he came to the plate, a towering home run to right.
Yeah, Skowronski designated to hit, and hit he did. That ball was mashed into right field. I think that might have been, and don't quote me on this, but I think it might have been the first home run we've seen into right field at Shirley Povich.
Swing and a foul from Skowronski.
Actually, I'll correct myself. Emilio Gonzalez hit one into right.
Trying to run through my mental Rolodex of big train bombs this year. And I believe you're right that Gonzalez's did go out to the pull side. It's the 7th home run for the big train as a team. And that breaking ball stays inside on Skowronski for ball 1.
A 7 split between 4 men. Panette's got 3. And Parker Corbin has 2, along with the aforementioned Gonzalez and today's Skowronski.
Skowronski chokes up with 2 strikes, the 1-2. Swing and a high fly to center field. That's going to be right at Adam Truck, who snags it with the leather for out number 1.
Just got under that pitch at the top of the zone. Not a bad swing, but Needed to get a little more on top of that to really do some damage.
Here is Brett Ott. He walked and scored in the third, grounded out to the first baseman in the next inning. Looking for his first hit of the day.
Ott's got a pretty impressive stat going, which is that in 12 starts, he has been on base multiple times in 10 of them.
He flies that one to right center. Making the catch on the canter is Adam Truck. 2 away, both retired by the speedy center fielder.
So that number at risk of moving to 10 for 13 for Ott, who has batted just 3 times in this game. Interestingly, although the Big Train have 6 runs, they have 3 innings where they've gone down in order, and 1 inning where they only batted 4. So they have only gone through the lineup 3 times in 6 2/3 innings. Usually, you see the 6 runs on the board, you think, oh, we're well into our 4th time through. That's not the case.
Ball outside, but that's the consequence of leaving just 1 batter on base, 1 runner on base, I should say, throughout this game. That was Alex Peltier, the current batter, back in the 3rd. Peltier guides it up the middle past the glove of Nick Flores for his 3rd knock of the day.
Yeah, 0 for 1 when this game was paused. And clearly he was grateful for the rain out because he has come back in this game and just torn the cover off the ball. 3 hard hit singles, 2 runs driven in, and a run scored.
And the center fielder absolutely loves playing at Shirley Povich Field. He is hitting over 600 now in the friendly confines.
Peltier's numbers away from home are not great. That's a product of... I won't finish that thought. I will get that back to you when we come back.
Won't finish the thought, but that ground ball will finish the inning. John Martinez retired on a fielder's choice. Big Train lead by 5 after 7 innings. 2 more to go on the Big Train Baseball Network. More Russell Peterson for you here on the Big Train Baseball Network. He has been excellent today. 5 innings without a run allowed. Alongside Eliav Brooks-Rubin, I'm Jackson Corcoran. Gibson Hurt is, thankfully, back on the 1s and 2s, not to mention the 3s and 4s.
And some would say the 5s and 6s, at least it looked like you were trying to deal with 6 different things when you were on it yesterday.
Gibson makes it look very, very easy, and I made it look very, very hard.
Everyone appreciates you for filling in, Gibson, for getting his lone off day of the season. 3 of us broadcasters have it easy. We rotate 2 of every 3 games, although it hasn't been balanced.
Fly ball towards right, lazy pop towards Peyton Steele, who retires Carter Groen for the first out.
But Gibson has to be doing his job every single day. And yesterday got his lone day that he requested off, and you were kind enough to fill in for both games, which could not have been easy. I don't envy you.
In the doing, I gained a deep appreciation for the process of broadcast production. Steve Wright called to Stephen Krause.
So at Northwestern, I do broadcast production when I'm not calling games, but I do one of the jobs on a given day that Gibson is doing 4 of at the same time, essentially. There are the producer role, which is communicating to the announcers about where we're going, what we're doing. There's the director role, which is cutting between cameras. There's the score bug and graphics, which we use 2 different roles. You can do one. And there's also the camera operation, which he's got the high home camera on. So he's doing basically 4 jobs at the same time.
It's a now 2-1 count to Krause as Gibby flicks around the cameras adeptly. Fouled back into the netting by the first baseman. He's singled twice against Peterson, was hit by a pitch against Kaler 2 weeks ago.
Krause almost had a web gem over at first on a hot shot from Martinez, but could not come up with it.
That one's low and inside, scoots to the backstop. Peterson has struggled against lefties on the season, such as Krause. Coming into this game, they were 6 for 14 against him, while righties were 5 for 20.
And Krause has 2 of the 3 hits allowed by Peterson today.
The payoff. Ball 4 high and outside.
The other is Dawson Smale, another lefty. So all 3 hits by Senators hitters today coming from the left-hand side of the plate.
The only righty who's reached against him was Logan Tribble, who walked in the 5th. Danny Surwick, another lefty, throws left, hits right, plays for Boston College.
Did not play at all this season.
Surwick slams that one to deep center field, moving back on it. Peltier, he's at the track, he's leaping, he makes the catch! Alex Peltier runs into the center field wall and retires Danny Surwick in the process. Another web gem from the East Carolina Pirate.
His second leaping grab of the day, and this one even more impressive than the last as he leaped right into that fencing. No padding out there, just a curtain to create a batter's eye. Alex Peltier showing no fear and going up for an incredible grab.
And he had a beat on it all the way. That's the most impressive thing. There was no scramble. There was no sense of rush or hurry from him. Ground ball towards third, coddled by Panette. He hums it a lullaby over to second base and puts the inning to bed. We are through 7.5. The Big Train still leads 6-1 after some great defense from Alex Peltier. Summertime rang across Shirley Povich Field in the mid of the inning, and just like the song says, the big train are hot as summer. An incredible catch last inning from Alex Peltier. Peyton Steele takes the first pitch and slams it, takes a nasty hop on Flores. That ball 104 off the bat, and then takes a hellacious hop on Nick Flores, gets into center field. That's a hit.
Yeah, not much Flores could do. That ball just jumped right over him, and Peyton Steele scalded that ball 104 miles an hour off the bat. And even though that was right at Flores, he had very little reaction time when that ball hopped.
Peyton Steele, such a toolsy player. I mean, he displays the plus arm on the regular, and his bat has some excellent pop in it. That pitch is low to Logan Panette, who's 0 for 3, trying to break out of a skid. Over his last few games, his last 10, he's hitting .207 coming into today, 0 for 3 in this contest. Lefty pickoff move towards Steele. He dives in head first, dirties the front of the uniform. The throw back to Michael Walsh gets away, but they pick it up before any advance can happen.
Panette in a little bit of a slump. He was 0 for 4 in game 1 yesterday. Did not play in game 2. He's 0 for 2 today, 0 for 3 in this game. So 0 for his last 6. Did have a 4-hit game earlier in the week. And also a game where he was hit by 3 pitches.
He does lead the league in that category with 7 overall. He has been willing to take a plunking. Holds his on-base percentage above 400 despite the skid. He swings and misses at a fastball outside. And that's a rarity, Eliav, because Panette really struggles against the breaking ball. The fastball he's been able to get a hold of throughout this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's turned around fastballs and deposited them over the left field fence, the center field fence. But he has struggled against lefties this year, so even though it was a fastball, still not seeing the ball great from the southpaws.
And, of course, there's one on the mound right now, Michael Walsh. He's hitting 160 on the year against those who throw from the same side as Walsh. The 2-1 to Panette is a breaking ball outside.
Yeah, same side as Walsh, but notably the opposite side of Panette. Reverse splits for the third baseman. And usually you expect a right-handed hitter to be better against lefties than righties, but not the case with Panette. Brennan Wright, the other guy on the team, a lefty who's got much better splits against left-handers.
Big league fly ball to center field, but Adam Truck puts it away with ease, and that's the first out.
And here comes those reggaeton notes of Emilio Gonzalez, who struck out last time up. Part of the only 1-2-3 inning twirled by Wimberley today. He worked 2 innings where he faced the minimum to start this game, all the way back on the 13th, but a lot less sharp.
Talk about reverse splits. How about no splits? He's hitting .407 against lefties, .394 against righties. Statistically indistinguishable. Fouls that one into his foot and takes a little jaunt around to walk it off.
Yeah, it just feels like no matter who's on the mound, what kind of pitches they're throwing, Emilio Gonzalez is going to put together a good at-bat and hit one hard somewhere. Righties, lefties, fastballs, curveballs, sliders, changeups. Not sure what other pitches he's faced this season. Maybe some, cutters, a knuckle curve maybe.
He'll face a 0-1 count against Michael Walsh here with Peyton Steele standing at first base. Holds the bat down on the knob in his bright red batting gloves and leans away from a breaking ball that didn't quite break.
Walsh just maybe slipped out of his hands or didn't quite get the grip on it. That ball started in and stayed in.
Walsh breathes, checks the runner, and throws at the bottom of the zone. Well-spotted fastball for strike 2.
Really good pitch from Walsh, keeping the ball down and away from Emilio Gonzalez.
Walsh bends at the knees, stares in at his catcher Bowling, and comes up with the sign. Runner takes off. Line drive right field. That's going to be foul.
Gonzalez just out in front. Could not wait back enough. Or that is extra bases down the line. He cranked that ball.
Another 1-2 on the way from VCU Ram to FAU Owl. Kick to delivery. Called strike 3. Outside corner. Well located from Walsh. And that's out number 2.
Yeah, 2 strikeouts for Gonzalez today, which is 2 more than he had in his previous 8 games combined. And testament to how good these Southern Maryland pitchers are. Even Wimberly a little bit of an off day, but still able to punch out Big Train now 8 times collectively for the team. The offense in Bethesda that strikes out the least in the Ripken League.
J.J. Hand takes strike 1. He's gone down looking twice in today's game. Hand a little wiggle to the bat, and he takes a breaking ball outside. Steele takes off and swipes second base. He's in scoring position for the recently graduated catcher.
And not even a bad throw by Chet Bowling. Just neither of the middle infielders shifted over to cover in time. That should be Dawson Smale's bag with a righty at the dish. A late reaction by Smale means that Steele was sliding into a bag and beating a throw where nobody was there to catch it.
Hand will face a 1-1 from Walsh. Ground ball left side, and give him a hand. And a single that's going to bring around Peyton Steele. The throw comes in. It's cut off by the third baseman, Surwick. And the catcher has his second RBI hit on the season for 3 runs batted in total.
Yeah, he does damage with guys in scoring position. He does have 3 strikeouts in 6 plate appearances, but in his other 3 plate appearances, he's got 2 hits and a walk. So if he can avoid the strikeout, he is a very productive hitter.
That extends the Big Train lead to 7-1. You got to feel pretty safe now if you're Sal Colangelo and the rest of his coaching retinue.
And I'm not seeing much action in the bullpen. This could be Russell Peterson's ball to finish it out.
And Russell Peterson was one of the go-to guys for the Whitman Blues this spring, and he is well used to going deep into ball games, pitching 7 or 8 innings at a time.
Yeah, he worked 6+ innings in 9 of his 11 starts, and 7+ in over half his starts, 6 of 11, including a complete game. He's worked 6 scoreless today, and if he does go back out, it'll be... And actually, already it's the longest outing by any Big Train pitcher. If he goes back out, he will just extend that even further. No Big Train pitcher has even worked into a 6th inning, whether as a starter or reliever. Both Bellis, Atatui, and Lehman, the 3 guys who have worked 5 innings in an outing, and now Peterson.
The first righty to do it in a statistical oddity. Obviously, all 3 of those guys you mentioned are southpaws for the Big Train. That pitch is low to Corbin, but I mean, just a quick tangent. How good did Connor Lehman look yesterday? Really nice to see that out of him.
Yeah, unfortunate for him that he wasn't able to earn his first win. He set himself up to do so after a really bad first outing where he allowed 5 earned runs in 1 inning. He sharpened up in each of his last 2, or his next 2, and then this past outing was by far his best, allowing just 2 hits and 2 walks across 5 innings.
Michael Walsh has allowed 1 walk over an inning and 2/3, and that was just now to Parker Corbin. Here's Josh Skaransky. He has walked, homered, and flown out.
But you got to think, I mean, you look at the Big Train's pitching staff. Drew Bellis and Kide Atatui are the 1-2 punch in whatever order you want them in. But if Connor Lehman and Russell Peterson can solidify themselves as the 3-4, this could be the most dangerous rotation in the Cal Ripken League. And then Owen Stewart is dynamic at the back end of the bullpen. And it's just about piecing together the 6 through 8 innings where Tyler Brashear comes into play, Tanner Kaler. Saw Capuano and Marrero get used yesterday. Not so effective, but they both have had their moments this season. Michael Deviney started yesterday but looked good. Cole Ketchum, another guy who can start or provide bulk innings in relief. It's about consistency. A lot of these big trend pitchers have had a couple of just incredible outings and a couple of bad ones. But when they're firing on all cylinders, this pitching staff can compete with any staff in the league.
They do lead the league in strikeouts with 166. ERA of 5.45, largely propped up by walks. When they're in the zone, this squad as a whole has very good stuff. The 1-2 to Skaronski. Swing and a foul.
I mean, you said largely propped up by walks. They're second best in batting average against and third best in slugging against. The problem is they're fifth in walks, they're seventh in hit by pitches, and seventh in wild pitches. So they are giving up a lot of free passes and a lot of free extra bases with guys on base. And that has been the bugaboo in the losses.
Another 1-2 to Skaronski, blocked in the dirt by Chet Bowling. Spares a couple of extra bases for Hand and Corbin. Skaronski holds the bat out towards Michael Walsh on the mound. Adjusts the helmet to his liking and awaits a 2-2. Swing and a chopper towards the Southern Maryland dugout for another pitch.
Well, Skaronski didn't mention it earlier, but he has extended his streak. He has been on base in every game he's started. Does not have a 13-game on-base streak because he has appeared in a couple games as a pinch hitter and not reached. But every time he's been slotted in the lineup, he has gotten on base.
That pitch just a bit low. And our TrackMan Zone says that was the right call. Good take by Skaronski to fill up our count.
Runners will get a head start here.
Handle move from second, Corbin from first, and Skaronski will look to keep him moving. Payoff from Walsh. Swing and a miss. Josh Skaronski goes down, but Peyton Steele comes around to score. They extend the Big Train lead to 7-1. Maybe just one half inning to go. Russell Peterson will be the one to bring it to you when we come back on the Big Train Baseball Network. How about the work of Russell Peterson today? Already has the longest outing of any Big Train pitcher this year and trying to finish off a game. A follower and how was Russell Peterson today. 6 innings so far scoreless. He has to get through the bottom third of the Senators lineup to conclude a big train win.
Yes, Nichols, Smale, and Tribble will stand in his way. Smale, the only one of the 3 with a base hit. And the only extra base hit of the game. For the, I should specify for the Senators. Big Train, of course, the 2-run homer.
Big Train's rival in the North Division leads the Metro SoCo Braves, the Thunderbolts I should say, are leading the Metro SoCo Braves 4-0 in the top of the 6th. Game 1 of a doubleheader there. The 1-0 Nichols is outside. The DC Grays lead 9-3 over the Gaithersburg Giants in the game that's going on right now. We've got more doubleheader games to follow later in the day, along with our doubleheader game.
Scheduled for 7 p.m.
Pitch is in there from Peterson. We'll be bringing it to you live, Eliav and myself, on the Big Train Baseball Network. So, good way to spend the rest of your Sunday night. If you've spent 2.5 hours with us already, why not spend a few more? 2-1 is low, just brushing the shoe tops of Jax Nichols. Makes no contact with the big designated hitter, and it's 3-1. That one's in there. Count is full.
A good frame job by Hand to steal a strike. That pitch right on the border, but the TrackMan has it as about half an inch off the plate.
The 3-2. Check swing, nowhere close to going. That's ball 4. The third walk issued by Peterson.
And the 4th time he's had to deal with a leadoff runner on base. 3rd of his own doing. So far, he has not allowed a second base runner. He's not allowed 2 base runners of his own in any inning. The only time that multiple base runners have reached today is in the 3rd when a man started on 1st.
Dawson Smale proffered a bunt and then pulled it right back for ball 1. But Peterson, working with J.J. Hand, his first quasi-start for Hand, and I mean, to get 6 shutout innings, a lot of it falls in the catcher as well.
Yeah, Hand had had some up and down moments in his relief appearances behind the plate, but today has looked very sharp. Not much has gotten by him. He has called a good game, although I think pitching coach Craig Lopez calls the game for the most part. He's framed a very good game.
Tugs that one into the zone for strike 2. Dawson Smale is 1 for 3 with a double, the only extra base hit of the day for the Senators. And Smale waves and misses, the 6th strikeout of the afternoon for Russell Peterson.
A really good off-speed pitch from Peterson, who has been going more to the fastball in put-away time, but that time slowed it down. Got a swing and a miss.
Peterson 2 ground ball outs in his 6 1/3. Pitch is high, and that's where he's been aiming. Top of the zone because he's gotten flyouts galore.
Yeah, 6 strikeouts, and everything else outside of the 2 ground ball outs has been a flyout. A lot of pretty lazy fly balls. A couple of hard hit ones that Peltier has tracked down. But for the most part, Peterson has gotten soft contact and made it very easy on his defense.
Logan Tribble, a .353 hitter coming into this game. He's 1 for 2. Native of Bradenton, Florida, takes a pitch outside, ball 2. Sun still glaring down here just before 6 o'clock. Our stadium temperature reads 91 degrees. Swing and a miss by Tribble. And there's 2 strikes on him.
Peterson bearing a changeup at 82. And that's the same pitch that he struck out Smale with to end the last at-bat. So that changeup, we haven't seen it a ton today, but it's working here in the 9th.
And Peterson drops one in, a breaking ball. Catches him looking. Tribble goes window shopping. 7th strikeout of the day for Peterson. And the Senators are down to their final out. The Big Train a chance to pick up the best record in the Cal Ripken League, at least for a moment.
Nick Flores stands in Peterson's way, 0 for 4 today for a guy who came in hitting .357. Or 0 for 2 today, 0 for 4 in this game.
Swinging a little fister towards the right side. Corbin coming in. Gloves. Flips. It gets away from Gonzalez and goes to the wall. Flores is going to be safe at first, and Jackson Nichols moves over to third, but that's about the only option Corbin had. Just couldn't control the glove flip.
Now we'll see if that scored a pure error or hit in an error, but Flores was beating it down the line. That was scored.
Looks like a hit and an error.
Yeah. So a single and then an E4 that advances Nichols on to third.
Adam Truck. Line drive right field. Moving back, Peyton Steele. He's back on, and he makes the catch. The Big Train win 7-1 on the back of a gem from Russell Peterson. The suspended game goes Bethesda's way, and they move to 12-6, the best record in the Cal Ripken League.
Yeah, talk about gem, the best outing that any Big Train pitcher has had this year. Non-negotiable. Russell Peterson goes 7 strong, allows 4 hits, 3 walks. He strikes out 7, and the Big Train move a half game ahead of the Senators for the top record in the league and remain in front of the T-Bolts no matter the outcome of their first half of the doubleheader.
The Bethesda Big Train scores 7 runs on 8 hits, commit 1 error. The Senators 1 run on 8 hits as well, 2 miscues. But Russell Peterson absolutely fantastic every sense of the word. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs allowed, earned or otherwise, 3 walks and 7 strikeouts.
Peterson, the winner in Wimberley, who started this game back on the 13th and worked 2 very good innings, struggled coming back out today, walked the first 3 he faced, allowed 6 earned across 6 total innings, and Walsh's relief was not enough. Russell Peterson, not only is that a huge win for the Big Train in their record and a huge pitching performance for Peterson's line, it also saves the bullpen that had to use 6 pitchers yesterday and still has 7 more innings to work today.
Game 1 is a Big Train winner. Game 2 coming up. It's set for 7 o'clock here at Shirley Povich Field on the Big Train Baseball Network. Rejoin us right here. Eliav and myself will be on the call. You can find the stream same time, same channel. Stick with us for that one. But for now, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you later today.